Hi guys, welcome to another episode of AJAWI TV, where we discuss architectural and construction related topics. Now, the other day, quite recently actually, one of my followers, somebody on Instagram actually reached out to me, right? And they were talking about the construction costs that I, disclosed, or I expressed how I determine what size house a particular client may be able to build given their budget, or it's a process that I use to determine what size building a person can possibly build with the budget that they have. And the person was like, yo, your costs are so high, and they don't know where I got those costs from and stuff like that. So I was letting them know the costs that I use are minimal. So I don't understand, because they're living in the US and they're like, hey, I can buy land in the US for 10,000 US. I can buy and build for 10,000 US. And I was like, what kind of house are you possibly building with 10,000 US dollars? So, in this video, we'll be discussing that a little, and I want to help you to determine the size house that you can possibly build given any budget, right? So at the end of this video, you'll be able to determine what size building you'll be able to build based on your budget. Any budget that you have, you should be able to determine, okay, this is the size house that I'm supposed to be looking for. All right, so without any further ado, let's get into this video. Alright guys, so the person called me and they were like, hey, I see you used a value to calculate the size house that the person is building. I think that one was the $3 million for 3 bedrooms. And I was like, boy, it seems like nobody really understood the process that I'm trying to get across. The point of the video is to get to the person to say to the person that, hey, with a $3 million budget, you're not supposed to be looking at a 3 bedroom, 3 bathroom house. That's the point of the video. You need to adjust your budget. And also the secondary point is seek the consultation of quantity surveyor, right? Now, before I get into this video, disclaimer, this video is a guide, right? Because I realize that some people are not necessarily listening. So I'm going to say to you, this video is a guide, something to help you to get an idea of what you're supposed to be looking for, right? And this will help you so that when you go to your architect, your engineer, your architectural technologist, you already have a realistic viewpoint or a realistic budget in mind of what you're going to build, right? So that the person can then take you from there to what you actually want. Because somebody actually reached out to me and I took them through this process in order to help them, and at the end of the day they were like, okay, alright, I realized that my budget was too high, my expectations were too high, because they contacted the NHC. They found out that, hey, they can get then their partner can get $13 million or $12 million, right? And when they called me, because it's a childhood friend of mine, right? She called me and she was like, hey, I want you to do something for me. I want 3 bedrooms. I want 2 bathrooms. I want a sitting room. I also want a sunroom. I want a veranda, and I want like an office area, and I want a nice size kitchen, and I want upstairs, right? So the 3 bedrooms will be on the first floor, and all the other things will be on the ground floor. And when I spoke to her, I continued to speak to her and say, hey, what size building are you looking to build? Because what you're seeing sounds like at least 2,500 square feet based on what I've done before, right? And she was even thinking about like a half bath and a little study area or office. So I immediately realized that she was very excited that she was able to get what $12 million to build a house, but I think that she was not necessarily in check with reality, and the fact that construction costs, the cost of the property and all of that is involved. So I took her through this process in order to give her a better idea of what she can possibly build. All right. So before we continue, let me thank a few persons. Well, or thank you guys for being a part of the AJAWI group. We finally hit 2,000 subscribers. So I want to say thank you for watching, thank you for liking, and this is the point that I want you to click the like, click the subscribe, click the notification bell, and share with somebody so that they can join us in our discussion. Another thing is, I want you guys to understand that when you guys reach out to me to discuss certain topics, your personal topic, it doesn't benefit everybody in the group, and that's why I did things the way that I do. So for example, somebody contacted me and we were there speaking for 1 hour. This was earlier on in my journey. They were there talking to me for an hour about their personal project, and they went on and on. And at the end of the day, I stopped the project that I was doing just to speak to the person. And I realized that I'm doing YouTube, and I'm just trying to help people, right? And then I affected a project that I was doing. So that's why I ended up deciding that, hey, if this that you're going to speak to me on your project, then I'll charge a little fee. That fee is minor, and if it is that you decide to, if you're really serious, then you'll pay that particular fee, and then we can sit and discuss for a half an hour, keep it at that, and then move forward, right? A lot of people may not like that particular fee, but at the end of the day, if it is that you're speaking to me personally, right, it doesn't benefit the group. And what I want is you guys to throw your questions out in the group, and if it is that you have something personal that you want to discuss with me to do your project or something like that, then you can reach out to me. The fee is meager, and it will be reimbursed to you once we get the entire project going, right? So I want you guys to understand that. So I think I've been blabbering too much, so let's get into the actual discussion that we are supposed to be doing. All right, so this is the thing that I went this is the process that I went through with the person, right? So I asked them, all right, so you have $12 million, so that's the budget, so write down the $12 million, right? So that's what I told her. And I said to her, all right, you want a $12 million house, right? She was like, yeah, but I'm supposed to be buying the land out of it. So I said, write down write down land, right? So she wrote down land. So I said, how much are you going to be buying the land for? So she was like, looking something for like 1.5 million to. So I told her to write down the 1.5 to and subtract the. I'm just gonna use my calculator to make sure that I don't lose track of what I'm doing. All right. So I told her to write down the the $12 million first, right? And then I want her to subtract the $2 million from it, right? So that leaves $10 million. So she has $10 million to build. Actually, that's the actual budget. Now, what I asked her to do is I asked her to go on a website, right? Go on a few websites, and I want you to look at so go to Gore website. So Gore, go to Wicon, and go to Chemtech, right? Those are a couple of builders across Jamaica that you'll see the price and the size of the building that they offer for those for the budget, right? So she went and she looked at those places and she was like, yeah, these are nice and everything. And I said, what size building you want? You want a 3-bedroom, right? And she looked at the 3 bedrooms and I said, what budget do you see there? And she was like, I see something like 22 million, right? I don't know if I'm remembering correctly, so you guys would have to go to that website and look. I'm just speaking off the top of my head, right? So she gave me a budget that they set if you're going to buy. Now, keep in mind that that doesn't include closing costs, lawyer fee, and stuff like that. And what you have to understand with these companies is that when they're building, what they have done is that they bought a mold, a concrete, a steel structure that they pour concrete into, so it's a monolithic structure, right? So what you have to understand is that when you are buying those houses, even though they mark up the price, they are actually building at a cheaper rate because they are doing mass construction. What do I mean by mass construction? They're doing multiple units, and they have basically cut out some of the costs that would be associated with the construction process, simply because they have a mold. Once they pour into that mold, remove the mold, they can just go ahead and render or finish, right? Because the everything is up already. So they just put in steel, they do the foundation, then they do the walls, by putting in steel in the mold and just pouring into the mold. Then they take off and move to another house. So the construction cost in such a situation is low, even though they mark up to make back their profit. But if it is that you're going to build your house, right? You don't have a concrete mold to pour into, so therefore you have to take that into consideration, because you're now going to be looking at rough render, fine render, then priming, painting, all of that, right? So you have to take that into mind or into consideration. So that means that your construction cost will be a little bit higher than theirs, because they are looking at a situation where they're doing mass construction. So within a day, them probably might pour all 3-4 houses and move on to another house. So you have to take that into consideration, right? So she looked at the size house that is there. Now I said to her, all right, so you're looking at building, your budget is lower than theirs. All right, no problem, don't worry about that, we're going through the process. So I said to her, all right, what size house do they have? Remember, the budget is $20 million for their unit, and that doesn't include closing costs and stuff like that. So keep that in mind, right? Now, I asked her what is the size of their unit, right? So their 3-bedroom, right? Their 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom unit is $20 million, and the size of it is 1,370 square feet. Right? Remember, the budget that she has and the size that she's thinking about is greater than theirs. Right? So now I asked her, what do you get for that $20 million? And she was like, oh, okay, I only get bedroom, bathroom, veranda, um, sitting area, master bathroom, walk-in closet, right? So she get her 3 bedroom and she good. But the fact that she don't get her sunroom, which is a larger size, and stuff like that, and she don't get her upper floor, is something to consider, right? So right now, in her mind, she has brought herself back, because if she's looking at a $20 million house and it is 1,370 square feet, which she was thinking about something probably double that for $12 million, which is not actually $12 million. Her budget is actually $10 million. And the cost of the land, which she's thinking 1.5 million. You're not going to find a $1.5 million land in Kingston, because she wants to live in Kingston. It's going to be difficult to find a $1.5 million property in Kingston, right? If it is that you want to live in a good area, right? I don't know of any other area that would sell property for $1.5 million. But we're running with that idea. No problem. So I said to her, alright, remember their property size is, their building size is 1,370. Alright, no problem. Now you have $10 million to build, right? So write down the $10 million. She wrote it down, right? I said to her, alright, we're going to set a ratio that we're going to build within. We're going to say, alright, minimum, bare minimum, which means that you're going to be managing your construction process. You're going to have to get your family members to help you out with construction. You know, you're going to have to do some amount of work in order to get it done. You probably might have to be your mason, or if you get a mason, it's going to be somebody who you probably know and I'm gonna help you out, right? They're not gonna charge you the full price. So I say write down $7,000, right? So that is your bare minimum per square feet for construction. Now mark you, this is a bare minimum, which means that you're going to be getting very low end finishes, right? And this is just a guide. It is not the actual. What my point is, you should always get a quantity surveyor. This is just to guide you, right? I'm talking to you watching this right now. All right. So this low end, that means that you have to invest some of your time in the process. You can't get a construction manager to come build and expect to pay them this, simply because you have to understand that construction managers, construction project managers are not there to build and give you free. Your project manager is not your friend at the end of the day. Why I say that is because he's not gonna do it for free. He's not gonna come and invest. It's your house, so you have to make the investment, right? So I think that's a problem for most people, is that they expect a project manager to come to their project, invest their time for free. You have to pay the man and his team, and you have to give them a profit. Nobody's working. If them come to work just to work for free, or to work to get a salary to go home, it don't make no sense. They want profit, right? Keep that in mind. Nobody now work free. All right, so she write down the $7,000. So I told her, okay, write down the maximum or a high end finish, right? So I said to her, all right, use $11,000. You're not going to build now. The norm, if you were to call master builders, would be $10,500. But let's put it at $11,000. So she write down the $11,000, right? Write down the $11,000. So now I said to her, okay, remember Chemtech is building at that. They have $20 million you would have to pay to get their house, right? That includes property. And you have to keep in mind that you're not going to get a big old everlasting house. It's 1,370 square feet. And it's 3 bedrooms. Alright? So I said, alright, divide the $10 million that you have left because you just buy a piece of a property. Divide the $10 million, right, by 7,000. So 10 million divide by $7,000 per square feet. You're looking at a building that is 1,428 square feet. Again, this is bare minimum, right? You're now in line with what Chemtech is building. All right, no problem. So 1,428 square feet at $7,000 per square feet. Low end finishes, bare minimum. You're going to have to invest time, effort, and you're going to have to do some of the labor. You have to get your friend, your sister, your auntie, your uncle, whoever it is, to come help you out. Alright, no problem. That is in line. You'd get the same size property, you'd get the same size building, less the property. That's not bad. No, she was saying that the 1,300 is small. Right? Alright, no problem. Let's look at if you want some high-end finishes. Chemtech is giving you fairly nice finishes. I would consider those high-end finishes. Alright, so we're looking at $11,000. Right? So how much would you get? What size building would you get for $11,000 a square feet? Right? So we say 10,000. Not 10,000. What? $10 million. Right? $10 million divided by $11,000 per square feet, right? That's gonna give me a building that is 909 square feet. Does that look anything like the building that Chemtech has, which is 1,370 square feet? She was like, no, that doesn't look like that size, right? So I said to her, all right, cool. Look at any other size property that they might have, say a 1-bedroom, anything along that line. She said, all right. Now she looked at a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and lot, right? Chemtech has one for $40,500,000. That includes lot, and that includes the square footage of the building that they have for that is 980 square feet. Remember, we're below that, and that's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, right? And that's $14 million they're selling for, right? That doesn't include closing costs. That doesn't include lawyer fee and transfer fee and all of them. So that doesn't include that. That's $14 million, and you're getting the lot, and you're getting a fairly nice building, right? So right then and there, she was like, wow, yeah, maybe I need to revisit my budget. So I was saying to her, now, all right, so for you, you're looking at possibly a low-end finish of 1,428 square feet of building, right? Or a high-end finish of 909 square feet of building for the $10 million. And that is given that you get a property for $1.5 million, right? Now, the 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, it's a small structure, so keep that in mind. Right? So it's 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, living, dining, kitchen. It's just a small house. Now I asked her to look at what that building looks like. Look at how it looks, right? Is that something that you would be comfortable living in? And she was like, it's very small, tight. I don't have space for my child, rare. And I'm like, yes, but what I'm trying to do is to get you to realize that your budget a little bit out, and you might have to just build that small building and then expand after, right? So she now knows that this is what she can actually build with the $12 million, given that she get a property for $1.5 million, and then she build a low-end finished building. If she's going to try and build on her own, right, which my cost, the cost that I assigned, is bare minimum, and it is just a guide for her, not the actual. What you would have to do is actually go to a consultant, which is a quantity surveyor, and have him go through and pick off these items by themselves and then come up with an actual cost. This is just a guide, right? So I said to her then, all right, if you want the 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom house, right? So 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, and you're looking at it, you're looking at the 1,370 square feet, right? This is the budget that you would have to actually be looking at. So you're going to have the $7,000, right, on one side, and you're going to have the $11,000 on one side. You sound like you want a fairly high-end finish, so you're going to use the $11,000. But I want you to look at both sides of the spectrum and then stick in between, try to keep it in between that, right? So I say multiply the 1,370, right? 1,370, multiply that by $7,000, right? How much do you get? So she get 9.59 million, right? Bare minimum. You have to go do most of the work. It's not going to be a situation where you're getting high-end finishes and the nice look. Yeah, I get bare minimum. Like you have to go do most of the work. Anyways, I said to her, if you want to finish this house and go live in it, you know, as quickly as possible, and you know, say your house I got finish and it look nice, you have some nice tiles, nice finishes. Let's look at the $11,000 at the high end of the spectrum, which is 1,370 multiplied by $11,000 per square feet, 11,000 Jamaican dollars per square feet. We're looking at 15 million 70,000, right? This is what you would be thinking about just for the building, right? Now, mark you're going to be in a position where you need to go and consult with the quantity surveyor to ensure that, okay, this is actually what I could get, but you're keeping in mind that, okay, I'm between this value. It's just a guide to guide you to keep your mind within, you know, within that price range. But if it is that you're going to go for a higher building, a bigger size building, then you know you have to now think about that. Now, I asked her, would you be comfortable living in that size building? Look at the finishes that they have, right? Would you be able to live in such a building? And she was like, not necessarily, because I still want the upper floor and all of that. What I'm saying to you is, this is what it is, this is what you should be looking at, and as a result you need to either readjust your budget, or you need to be thinking along that size building and look at the finishes that they have. Mark you, the actual finishes that you select will affect the budget, right? So with her $10 million, she realized that she need at least $6 million more in order to get what she wants. Period. Right? So that's how I want you guys to think as a returning resident. That's along the line that I want you to think. Just write it down, sit down and write it down, and go through the video and write it down. Then you go on and see what is out there, and keep in mind that, hey, when these companies are building, they're building cheaper because they are doing mass construction. All right, so we come to the end of this video. I hope you were able to garner something from this video. So I want to say thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for sharing, and thank you for being a part of the Patreon group. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, please ask below. If you want to reach out to me to discuss your project or something that you have in mind, the information for my contact is in the description below. I'm positive that there are people in this group that actually have construction related experience, or we're a group of people that are there are people in here who are in the construction industry. I know for a fact that there's an engineer in the group, somebody who's an engineer in Jamaica. So feel free to ask your questions below. If I don't answer it, somebody in the group will answer it and help you along the way, along your journey. If you have specific topics that you would like to ask, please don't be afraid. And if it is that you want a consultation with me, the link is in the description. Just set an appointment and we will get you where you want to be. All right.